Cool. Righto, we'll open the meeting at 6:30. Apologies and leave of absence. There are no apologies, leave of absence or absence. Confirmation of council minutes. Recommendation of the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held Wednesday, 19th of November 2025 be taken as read and confirmed.
Yeah.
Do I have a mover for that? Neville. Seconder, Chris. Does anyone want to speak to that? All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Opening remarks from me. I think really what I want to acknowledge is that we've obviously going through the process of a contentious and trying issue that has a lot of emotion attached to it. And I think for the most part, it's been handled very well from both the public and council perspective as far as discourse has been had. Even when it's emotional, it's been reasonably respectful, which is good. And I think if we can keep doing that, we'll have other issues to discuss it for sure. And it's a positive thing that happens. And that's what a democracy should be. And I guess on top of that, it's just wishing all the constituents and staff and council a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and a good festive season, and stay safe and come back ready to bolt on again next month. So that's it for me. Declarations of conflict of interest. Chris?
Yes, so I'd like to seek a leave of the meeting to give a personal explanation under Regulations 15.3 of the Local Government Procedures at Meetings, Regulation 2013, and that I would like the text to be included in the minutes.
Okay. Do I have a vote to seek leave of the meeting? Standing orders? Yep. All those in favour, thank you. Chris?
Okay. Conflict of interest explanation. I've obtained advice from the LGA and legal advice from Kelly Jones Lawyers, from which I wish to make a personal explanation to address speculation in the community that I have a conflict of interest with respect to the council's consideration of the proposed sale of council land and buildings at Lameroo, currently used as council chambers, public toilets and CFS station. I'm currently captain of the Lameroo CFS Brigade. This is an unpaid volunteer position, separate to Region 3 Command, which is based in Murray Bridge. The council was engaged with the South Australian Fire and Emergency Services Commission, being SACOM, and the state government regarding the proposed sale of the land and buildings to be used as a state emergency facility. The Lameroo CFS Brigade has no decision-making authority regarding the proposed purchase of any land for the use of supporting emergency service facilities in the region. The decision-making for such proposal comes from a command level in Murray Bridge and the Minister for Emergency Services, of which I am not involved at that level. Before each meeting, councillors fill out a conflict of interest disclosure form stating whether they have a general or material interest, of which I have done. We also fill out a form every 6 months stating all our interests, be them personal or business, within Australia. In which case, while I have a general conflict of interest, which I do declare and I propose to deal with in the matter in a transparent and accountable manner, I have a clear understanding of my two roles, which means I am not prohibited from participating in discussion and debate on the proposed sale of the land and buildings. So doing so, I will retain my right, which I'm allowed under the general conflict of interest, to be involved in the discussion matter and any voting on the process. Thank you.
Good. Does anyone else have any declarations? We need to come back out officially because we went back out, so we need to come in. Do I need to leave in the meeting to do that? We just come back. Okay. Well, in that case, we move on to number 6, petitions. There are no petitions. Deputations. There is a deputation. Andrew? Floor is yours. 15 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know when I put my application, I take 15 minutes. I think it's more like 22. Is that okay with you?
Just go through it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the opportunity to address the council. I am speaking to the matter of the proposed sale of, which is on the agenda today under 11.1 of the council building on Railway Terrace North, Lameroo. I would like to read to you some advice that we have obtained regarding this matter. This advice comes from a very highly regarded firm, and the lawyer managing it specialises in local government issues. Background. We understand that Southern Mallee District Council is proposing to revoke the community land classification of land at Railway Terrace North, Lameroo, and sell that land to the South Australian Country Fire Service for construction of an incident management facility, Emergency Operations Centre. This advice considers two key issues: whether the Deputy Mayor has a conflict of interest in this matter, given his role as captain of the Lameroo CFS, and whether Council has complied with the mandatory procedural requirements under Section 194 of the Local Government Act. Our review of these issues and our advice below is based on information provided by you and information available to us after having done a desktop review of the issues raised. If there is additional information which we have not seen or been able to access due to constraints because they were not on the council website and that relate to this matter, our advice may change. Conflict of interest. Our view, based on the information available to us, is that the Deputy Mayor has a conflict of interest in relation to the matter under Section 75A of the Local Government Act, because he is a member or officer of the CFS, an agency of the Crown, and that matter directly concerns the CFS, namely the proposal of sale of land to the CFS for construction of the Incident Management Facility Operations Centre. As CFS Captain, the Deputy Mayor has direct personal responsibility for the operational effectiveness of the Lameroo CFS station. Proposed Emergency Operations Centre may serve as a regional hub for the entire Southern Mallee region. Acquisition of this land would enhance the Deputy Mayor's ability to fill his responsibilities as Station Captain, reduce operational challenges he personally faces, and enhance his professional standing as a leader of the station with new infrastructure. These benefits likely constitute a material conflict of interest under Section 75(1) because they are indirect personal benefits to the Deputy Mayor depending on the outcome of the matter. If we are wrong and these benefits are characterised as organisational rather than personal, they would still constitute private interests within the meaning of Section 74.2, given rise to a general conflict of interest under Section 74. Consequences of having an interest depends on the type of conflict that exists. If a material conflict exists, the Deputy Mayor must inform the meeting of the material conflict and leave the meeting room such as he cannot view or hear any discussion or voting, and stay out while the matter is being discussed and voted on. He may only attend if granted ministerial approval. Failure to comply may render any decision vulnerable to a legal challenge. If a general conflict exists, Section 75B, the Deputy Mayor must deal with the conflict in a transparent and accountable way by informing the meeting of the conflict, whether he proposes to participate, and if so, how he intends to deal with the conflict and his reasons for participating. All of these details must be recorded in the minutes. Finally, We are not aware of an exemption that would apply to the Deputy Mayor under the conflict of interest provision, nor have we identified any declaration or record of declaration in the publicly accessible minutes of council that we assume relates to the matter in item 16.1 of the council meeting in October 15, 2025. Proposed lot 104 Railway Terrace, North, Lameroo. The onus is the Deputy Mayor's to assess and determine whether he has a conflict of interest in relation to the matter. He may have done so regardless. Regardless, if you suspect the Deputy Mayor has breached the conflict of interest provisions, you may raise your concerns with the Deputy Mayor or Mayor or CEO. We recommend taking this approach first. Report the matter to the Ombudsman, i.e. on the basis you reasonably suspect the Deputy Mayor has not complied with the conflict of interest of the LGA Act and that such conduct constitutes misconduct. If the Deputy Mayor has a conflict of interest and has failed to declare that interest in accordance with the Act, this will not necessarily invalidate the community land classification revocation process. The process of revoking the community land classification of council land is set out in section 194 of the LG Act. Part of that process requires council to prepare and make publicly available a report. Again, based on our desktop review of Principality Council's website, the promotional webpage and attached documents do not, in our view, constitute a statutory report for the purpose of section 194 of the Act, in that it has failed to do. Sufficiently identify the land to which it relates. It merely states land at Railway Terrace North, Lameroo, including the current council office, public toilets, dentists and CFS buildings. There are no certificates of title references, no allotment, no plan numbers, no proper legal description and no map or plan showing the land boundaries. B. Provide a summary of the reasons for the proposal. Under section 194.2, the web page states that the revocation is being conducted to enable the property sale to the South Australian Country Fire Service for construction of an incident management facility and references operational savings, but does not explain why this particular land, which has been classified as community land, no longer serves the community purpose, or how council has balanced the community's interest in retaining community land against the financial benefits of a sale. A statement of dedication, reservation or trust to which a land is subject under section, which is required under section 194, the materials contain no statements regarding any dedication, reservation or trust to which a land is not subject to. This is a mandatory requirement. Under section D, a statement of whether revocation of the classification is proposed with a view to sale or disposal of the land, and if so, details of any government assistance given to acquire the land, and a statement of how the council proposes to use the proceeds, which is required in the Act under section 194. The sale, disposal and government assistance element have to be satisfied. However, the web page states that ongoing savings will be available to enhance services delivered across, but this conflates with the 70,000 operational savings of the capital process. The basic revenue and costing document shows proceeds from the sale of 225,000 with total costs of 207,500, resulting in total revenue of 617,500. The community is not informed specifically how this net revenue will be allocated. E. An assessment of how the implication of the proposal would affect the area and the local community, which is required under Section 194 of the Act. The webpage uses promotional and aspirational language and does not, in our view, provide a balanced assessment of negative impacts and specific details. For example, it acknowledges that there will be reduced hours at the Laramie Depot compared to the current full-time officers, but provides no information what the current hours are or what the reduced hours will be, making it impossible for the community to access the actual impact of the reduced access to council services. The frequently asked question states, the specific days for depot public access will be confirmed and publicised following implementation, meaning the community is being asked to comment without knowing what access they will have. Another example relates to the sale of public toilet facilities. The webpage identifies that the land includes the current council office, public toilets, dentists, and CFS buildings. And the revenue costings document shows 150,000 allocated for a new public toilet facility, but the materials do not inform the community where the replacement toilets will be located or when they will be constructed. Further, it is not clear whether the webpage is even the report that council is required to make publicly available under Section 194. Council appears to have considered this matter at item 16.1 of the 15th of October 25 agenda in confidence. We have not identified any other council items that supports the matter were considered at any other time. The community is therefore unable to access the information that was before council when it deliberated on this matter. That raises questions as to whether the report required under Section 194 is a separate document that has actually not been made publicly available. Considering the webpage appears to lack sufficient detail, if the council prepared a formal report for its own consideration on October the 15th, 25, but has only made what, in essence, amounts to promotional materials and public consultation details public available, this may contrive Section 194, which requires council to make publicly available a report on the proposal following its preparation. Furthermore, in our view, council uses the confidentiality provision under Section 90 and 91 of the LG Act to consider and then keep item 16.1 in confidence on October 15, 2025 is incompatible with the requirement to make the report publicly available under Section 194. Council's resolution states that it was satisfied that pursuant to Section 90, the information to be kept in the disclosure of which would reasonably be expected to confer a commercial advantage on a person with whom the council was proposing to conduct business or to prejudice the commercial position of council. However, Section 90 requires both that the information falls within the proposed category and that disclosure would be, on balance, be contrary to the public's interest. This matter is very much in the public's interest. This was not noted on recommendation under item 16.1 and raises a question as to whether councils consider this relevant. It is a mandatory consideration, and in our view, given section 194 mandates transparency and public consultation, disclosure of the report would on balance be in the public's interest. The deficiencies identified above are starkly inconsistent. For example, the previous balances of council. Southern Mallee District Council, in June 24, revocation report relating to a separate matter was comprehensive, a 17-page formal document with a table of contents and structured sections. Full legal descriptions, including Crown record of certificates, title, reference, precise land areas, and detailed boundary descriptions, location maps showing the land proposed for revocation, highlighted in orange. Explicit statements addressing dedication, reservation, or trust. Structured assessments of community impact under the heading. How would the proposal affect the local community? Specific statements about the use of the proceeds. In our view, that the non-compliance with section 194 of the LGA Act should be immediately raised with council, and council asked to cease the revocation process until such times as these matters have formally been rectified, or council's compliance has been made subject to an independent review. It is also our recommendation that the issues of non-compliance with section 194 be raised separately, but also as part of a substantial submission about the proposal in response to the public consultation processes currently underway. If council continues with the revocation process without rectifying these issues, it is our view that the Minister, on receipt of the council report, being the website report, and a occupier of the submissions under section 194, should find the council's process to date inadequate and non-compliant and not approve the revocation. Also, any future resolution determining to revoke the classification would likely be invalid or incapable of being invalid if the Minister was to approve it. If council prepared another report for submission to the Minister, however, as stated above, we would have expected this to have been publicly available. As stated above, you may notify council that you have concerns about council's process and its compliances with Act 194 of the LGA Act, and ask council to cease the revocation process until such time as these matters have been formally rectified or council's compliance has been subject of an independent review, and make substantial submissions about the proposal and in response to the public consultation process currently underway, and include as part of those submissions your concerns about the matters of non-compliance. If the council does not rectify these matters of non-compliance with section 194, or at least undertake a review of its process to ensure compliance, you may also wish to report the matter to the Ombudsman on the basis of council's procedure amounts to substantially mismanagement of public resources. Before making any such report, however, we strongly urge you to raise these matters with council, i.e. Mayor, Deputy Mayor and CEO, as stated above. Or our review is based on the information of the council website and there may be additional information we have not yet seen. And I would just like to add, I would also like to ask or no, to raise a point that in tonight's agenda on 11.1, you are maybe considering restarting a public consultation period again. And in there, it is mentioned the dates 19th of December to 9th of January 2026. I'd like to mention that point is very, or that time frame is very, very unfair on the community. It goes against community ethos. As you are aware, that is over the Christmas New Year period, and then traditionally the holiday period for our district. We ask that if you are running that public consultation period again, that it not be over this period and that it start end of January onwards, so the community can be around to be consulted. Thank you.
Okay, presentations, Neil. Oh, I assume you've got notes from that and address that. Yep. Elected members updates 9.1. Probably with, I think that's all self-evident, so there's nothing I want to add to mine. So our recommendation that council receives and notes the content of this report. I'll move that. Do I have a seconder? Trevor, does anyone want to speak to that? All those in favour? Against? Carried. Keith. 9.2 elected member report. Does anyone have a report from the committee? No. So there's nothing to note there. 10 reports from committees that are in the middle. So 11.1 community sale consultation outcome revocation of community land status and sale proposed lot 104 Railway Terrace North. Jason.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we've just gone through a workshop on this, so hopefully most people saw that, but I'll give a quick background on what happened. So we know it's about the proposed sale of lot 104 Railway Terrace North Lameroo and the revocation of community land status on that land. So we have had our 21 days of the revocation, 21 days of community consultation for the revocation of the community land, which included a public exhibition of the proposal, which was the online consultation hub. We had 2 public community meetings held in Lameroo, and we had written submissions received by council. So consultation outcome. So the public meeting, first one, we completely misread that. I'll own that. That was going to be drop-in sessions just to have a chat, and it was quickly that we wanted that the community wanted a public meeting. So we went into public meeting, but it wasn't ideal with the size of the room. So we went to a second public meeting the following week on Thursday, the 27th of November, after hours as well, to make sure that we could get as many people there as possible. And again, I want to reiterate what the Mayor said already about it's a motive issue, but it has been respectful, the opposition and the consultation I've had. So the consultation outcome, so we received a total of 98 written submissions, 90 or 92% were for, 8% submissions, or 8 in favour, with over 90%, 93% of those coming from the Lameroo area. The themes identified, so I went through 7 in the workshop, but the 3 I've got here is the consultation timing. Significant proportion respondents felt that the 21-day period was too quick. We had concerns about potentially empty street building. which was relating to Main Street activation, community identity, and local business confidence was what that was relating to. And also there was strong belief that the council office should remain in Lameroo, with it being the centre of the district. So I mentioned it earlier, but the 4 overarching insights I got from going through all the submissions, the public consultation, the meetings, and talking to people was, we feel rushed and want more information. We're protective of Lameroo's identity and services. We fear losing economic activity and activation in Main Street, and we worry council may make a long-term decision on incomplete data. So with that being said, the recommendations. The recommendation is that council receive and note the outcomes of the community consultation undertaken to date regarding the proposal. Point 2 of the first one, I think we've established from the deputation and from what's already been discussed that we cannot proceed directly to a final decision based on the consultation, particularly due to the revocation report, which hasn't been made public, which needs to happen. So I think we pull that one. So therefore, the recommendation is that council receive and note the outcomes.
Can I just interrupt you there for a sec? It came out in the earlier workshop, but now that we're in the meeting and we're going through it, I think you said in the previous one why that didn't happen. And I think for the sake of this meeting and with the deputation, I think you need to, I'd be pleased if you would restate why that happened, how it happened, and what's the fix.
Yeah, it was, I received advice on the procedure, and it's on me. I completely misread the procedure, and I was of the understanding that the revocation report is what gets all the submissions get compiled into that, and then it gets made public and sent off to the minister. But the revocation report needs to be all of the things that Andrew was talking about before. All of that's in it. We will have it, but that needs to be out for 21 days.
So that should have been out at the beginning.
So that should have been out at the beginning, should have been on the website, and that's,
that was an oversight on
and there was an oversight on mine. Yeah, I completely
I just wanted to acknowledge what had been said, and because it was said earlier in the workshop as well.
Yeah.
And make sure that we're being transparent about that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, Karen.
No worries. So the council endorsed the commissioning of an independent economic impact statement to assess the potential economic, social and community impacts associated with the proposed revocation and sale of site. Extend the consultation period for a further 21 days. I've got commencing 19th December 25th, 2025 until 9th of January 2026 to allow the community to access and review the independent economic impact statement once completed, access and review the revocation report and provide additional informed feedback on the proposal, and receive a further report following the close of the extended consultation period, incorporating the findings of the economic impact statement to enable final council determination of the proposal.
Thank you. I'd like to move a amended recommendation, and that is that that one, council receive and note the outcomes of the community consultation undertaken to date regarding the proposal.
Can we vote on that separately, please? Come up with.
Can do. Yep. To defer a decision so the proposal can be incorporated with other sustainability measures, which will be taken to a public vote. Should have put in there next year, but public vote. So as opposed to us making a decision. 3, advise CFS Safecom and Renewal SA seeking an extension of their offer to the 30th of June. 4, I had written down, but I'm inclined to remove because of the deputation raises issues of correctness. So what it was going to be, just for the public, because we have a gallery here, 4 was going to be continue with the revocation of the land use as business of council is and has been conducted on the site, which is not community use, it's commercial. So I think there's an argument about what the community use is, the land around this community, but the actual building, which will be separated off, isn't and never has been. But I think with that needing to be clarified, I think I'm happy to remove that part. So 5 would become 4, which is council undertakes to direct mail this outcome to all ratepayers to inform them of what's happening and why, and explain what the other piece is all about. So that would just make sure it's right there. Receive and note outcome of the community consultation undertaken to date regarding the proposal. defer a decision so the proposal can be incorporated with other sustainability measures which will be taken to a public vote. Advise CFS Safecom and Renewal SA seeking an extension of their offer to the 30th of June. And 4, council undertakes to direct mail this outcome to all ratepayers.
You think the outcome the right word?
Oh, well, it's an outcome of this, yes. The decision,
It's outcome of the.
I mean, it's the outcome of this is that we're deferring it and not taking a decision and bringing other things in place. So you can call it an outcome or a decision, whichever you prefer.
I feel like number 2 there isn't a modification of this motion. It's a new motion, which probably should.
Move it. You don't have to move the recommendation.
And I'm just saying,
You might get one.
yeah, probably should. The mayor accepts motions. I think there's a provision in the Act where if the mayor accepts a motion and it's too complicated, not enough information, the mayor can make a suggestion that we put off to the next meeting to allow administration to give a response. Potentially that could be a good thing to do for that one. But if you want to move that, that's your motion. You can.
Well, yeah, I would stick with moving that because I think the public need this decision deferred. We don't want to put it into public consultation for the 9th of January because that's not adequate. And I guess there's enough public interest to say why not take it to a public vote. So I guess, look, that's mine. If you want to do it a different way, I'll call for a seconder. If there isn't one, then you can. I'm not sure about the motion part. I'll have to be instructed on how that works, as opposed to being whether this is materially too different to what's already there. I didn't see it as being such.
Can we talk about it a bit though?
Only if we come out of standing orders, because otherwise we need to get it on the table to talk about it.
Oh, we'll suspension of proceedings for 5 minutes to discuss it, can we?
Yep, all those in favour?
Yeah, I just wonder what number 4 really says there. It doesn't say we're going to have a. Yeah. Convince me what that really means.
That's making sure that council actually direct mail all ratepayers and tell them
Okay,
the
righto.
decision we've taken tonight.
Oh,
So the people don't
okay.
get some handout.
Yeah, it's not.
It's just about this.
It's not
We're
winning the vote.
No.
No,
We're just,
okay.
this is about this decision.
Did you read it?
And people need to understand what we have done tonight and they need to get it firsthand.
Not real that.
So they get the facts.
I guess what I was saying before is that you put up there is substantially different from what we've already reviewed and what administration has made a recommendation of. I would prefer if that was going to be a motion that was going to be decided today, that it was put off until administration was given a full opportunity to provide a response to that. And I was able to digest all the information and make an informed decision. I don't think we have all the information to make a decision on that at this present meeting.
Really?
That's my opinion.
What put it off for people to vote on instead of us making the vote?
No, I just
I'd
don't
rather give
think
it
the
to people.
information in this year is enough for me to make an informed decision. And I would prefer that if this was the motion
Do
that
you
you
have
want
an
to put.
alternative that you'd like, alternative way that you'd like it written?
All right, well, if I'm going to move the motion, we need to come out of.
No, but I'm saying about rather than move a motion, because this is just about deferring or stopping or
No.
doing this one.
I would move the second lot of motions there, but I would change the public consultation periods to a later date that it would allow it to be brought to the February meeting and allow staff to compile all the extra information they do and conduct a proper assessment and everything according to all the stuff that Andrew read out there, compliant with all that. And then that thing in February, we don't have to make a decision then. We can still choose to defer that again and we can examine something like this. I just don't think the information is there at the moment for us to make an informed decision on this. But you are free to move whatever motion you want. If you
Yeah, no, I'm digesting as well, because to me it's like that's basically instructing the council to go ahead with public consultation period again and just extend the time frame out, which is putting the public back in the same sphere. And I guess mine was about stopping that and saying, well, okay, we've got consultation. There's enough people saying they have issues with it. And so I guess I'm trying to point to say the best alternative in my view is to take it out of that realm and put it into a public vote where we truly hear from all the people. So I'm probably still, I'm happy to come back out into.
I've still got a little break on in number 2. I reckon you probably need to break that up into, you're saying incorporated with other sustainability measures. You might need to say council office and then other sustainability rather than lump it all together.
Yeah, sustainability measures is a very, very, very broad thing, and what exactly is being taken to this public vote, like that is a very, very broad thing. I'm not comfortable voting on something that broad at this moment with more information possibly.
So just defer the decision until February meeting? No,
Well, no,
I'm just
we
asking
can't.
the-
We can't make a decision until we've gone out to the
We
public
should.
consultation and all that kind of thing. So I'm saying this process is already here. We've already got a lot of the information there. The community is already on board and engaged with this process. So I think there could be some benefit to continuing the process as it is, but extending the deadline and possibly seek extra ways of engaging with ratepayers such as mail outs and things like that, and continue the process as it is, but the right way of doing it. And then if you want to put another motion that also incorporates some of the things you're saying there at next month's meeting, so we've got time for administration to make a response to that and for us to digest these issues, they could work together. Like, they can feed into that report we're going to get in February.
What we're suggesting at that meeting this afternoon and putting a thing together, where does that come into this motion? That is the outcome, is it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the outcome of the community consultation.
Yeah.
And what the main,
And the independent review that you're going to.
yeah, that'll form part of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't really, it sort of doesn't read like that quite. No, it sounds like the outcome of this today's decision rather than the outcome of what we're dealing with.
So just so we can get clarity then, if we go to the original version 2, you have no number 1, receive and note the outcomes of the community consultation is fine.
Yeah.
2, endorse the commissioning of an independent economic statement to assess. I believe we're fine.
Yeah.
Yep. What we're saying is number 3, extend the public consultation period for further 21 days. We're not fine. So I guess the question is, what I've suggested is that we don't extend that and we actually put it to a process where we end up with a public vote.
Yes.
Or we can just extend that out and say we extend it to February and put more time, but then it's still in that process. So I think that's
I think to enable a vote, you still need to provide the public with all the information. So we still need to go ahead with the independent economic statement.
Yeah.
We still need to get the revocation documents and
we
everything.
do the other stuff as well.
So I think it's safe just to do this, and we're still not making a decision, but we're following all the proper procedures and stuff.
So
And it's giving you time to figure out that and potentially get administration feedback and stuff. Like members' ability to digest your.
So are you happy if we push it out to February?
Yeah, I think.
Because it's just January's not a. It's
No,
not.
no, I agree.
January's not.
I agree with the comments from all the.
January's no good.
You've got to get people. You know, harvest is still going on.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Time off.
Andrew and I have spoken about it and I said that.
It's hard for elected members. I mean, it's hard for administration to get all that stuff together because they're on holiday and they're having a break. There's 100 other things from the
Yeah.
So January is too soon. I think we push it out to
be reckoned.
to allow we make the dates so that the consultation period allowed to be brought to the February meeting.
21 days minimum too, so we could still go out 19th of December all the way through till mid-Feb.
Do we need to have all this full information compiled before we start the consultation, or is it okay to start the consultation and then bring stuff out partway through?
Yeah, we've got the.
You've got it all?
We've got the.
Alright.
We've got the revocation.
If you're confident with that, then I'm happy
90% done.
Have you got the independent report, independent assessment or whatever?
Not yet, no.
When's that going to be due?
I'm not.
All right, I think we're going beyond now. We
So I think maybe
need to get to.
just to be
we're talking
safe.
about it's not on the.
Well, you can't start it until after that.
Just to be safe, maybe we say like
You can because it can come out during.
a date in the second week of January, so that gives administration time to get all their ducks in a row, and then 21 days from that, allowing to be brought to the February meeting would be sufficient for everyone.
Well, you do, yeah.
Not necessarily make a decision there.
Right. So So realistically, what we're doing then is changing it to really just changing point 3 to be from extending the public consultation period. So instead of, we're going to say a further 21 days, but it's going to be from a date in January. Do you have that date?
Can you recommend a date?
Yeah, Chris, bring it up at the bottom there, Shona. So,
Sorry?
So,
And I'm going.
You want the calendar?
yeah. No,
Doesn't matter.
All that's
We'll start the 12th of
Doesn't
January.
matter. We've got it.
We'll start the 12th of January. That should give administration enough time to get some things in order.
Are you guys back?
Yeah, well, hold it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm back on the 14th.
You're back on the, all right. So what would you recommend, Jason, to get it so we can still bring it to the February meeting, but you guys have enough time?
When's the February meeting? Third week?
No,
Third Wednesday?
Can I just make,
18th.
it sounds like with,
Too quick.
yeah, it sounds like we're compressing it again. I mean, I was trying to extend it out further, not compress it. So,
Yeah.
um,
No, that's fair enough, but we can do
so-
that too, yeah.
so how about we, being that people are going to be away, including council shuts down for a bit as well, why not make it from the 1st of February till the end of February and bring it to the March meeting?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. That's,
We've got, by the next meeting in January, hopefully we have all that information and we can see all that before we send it out. So we know whether everything is there that's need going.
Yeah.
I think drip feeding it through that time's where we are now. Like it needs to all be prepared when we
Yeah.
know we've got it all.
No, that's what I'm saying,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then we
Alright.
can say, right, here it is and start from there.
So public consultations. So is it? Yeah, it is public consultation again. So public consultation from 1st of February to the end of February 26, and bring it back. That'll obviously bring it back to the March meeting.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the motion I would.
Receive further report following the close. I definitely do want put on the end though, the piece around council undertakes direct mail that decision to ratepayers.
The decision of what?
This decision, what we're saying right now.
Okay.
So that people receive it in the mail and they know what the hell's going on. They don't have to guess it, they don't have to hear it, they know it. Because that's one of the critical errors we made in the first place, was not going direct out to
I
people.
think we're discussing the motion now, so maybe.
No, well, we're adding
To it.
a recommendation to it. Yeah. That's all it is. Council undertakes a direct mail this outcome to all ratepayers. Righto. Come back out.
That's the right place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll go on social media and everything as well, but
They're the ones that pay for it, mate.
righto. So
On. You've moved that original one.
how do I let that lapse? Well,
Well, just ask for a seconder.
with and then change it to that.
But no, just
You can change it.
not get a seconder.
For this revise, for the original one,
The one that you moved.
post.
Yeah.
I'm happy to let that lie. Can I do that?
Yes.
What about the 37 green thing you have to report to?
It was all right.
Withdraw.
I withdraw my recommendation change and go back to the reworded original one.
Just gonna shift it down so it's all on one page for you.
Sorry, that's a bit messy, but I just think we had to get to that where we're achieving both outcomes.
Sorry.
$21,000, do you want to punch it to 27 or something?
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. Doesn't. 20.
I think you could just say consultation period, you don't have to put the date in.
Yeah, don't worry about
It's
the 21
implied,
days.
it's implied in the dates. Yeah.
Don't worry about that. Just leave that, so.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Well, I'll move that.
Right, we've got to move it. Do I have a seconder?
Yeah.
Chris, Chris, does anyone want to speak to that? We've done that.
I'm being flogged to death.
All those in favour?
I did have a big blurb about this whole issue, but I
Oh,
think I will wait until we get all this further information to do it. Make a better comment on that. And yeah, part of what I was going to say was, yeah. Also, it's been amazing to have so much public feedback from Lamoureux and so many conversations with everyone about this issue. I love that everyone's put in these submissions and talking to everyone, even people that didn't put in submissions. It's been excellent having respectful debate with you all. And I hope that this level of community engagement continues into the future and with this other consultation period here. Yeah, many of you touched on other topics that I am also passionate about and raised some excellent points. So I look forward to hearing more from everyone in the future. Anyone else?
No, that's
All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. 1.2 reports corporate services.
Well, we did it first for you.
I can't say.
Page 170.
Then start getting some answers.
Yeah, you don't have to go.
Watch it on telly. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
I went a lot quicker than I thought.
Really?
I didn't think so.
I just sucked the soul out of them.
Thank you, Mayor Valentine. So this is a monthly corporate services report, which elected members will have had the opportunity to review. So I'm happy to take it as read and highlight just a few key points. So over the last month, the team has completed some rather large and important pieces of work, including Council's annual report and the follow-ups to that process, and the Annual Grants Commission report. A lot of input from a lot of staff members have done, which is really good. The childcare section highlights a lot of progress being made in regard to reviewing and updating the large suite of policies and procedures that they have. Certainly highlight the benefit of having a manager. Just extend that, like Darcy's presence and current nature is really helping with the day-to-day management of the centre, and really making some good progress and improvements to governance and administration related processes. So going well there. Similarly, in the WHS space, the recent quarterly WHS meeting highlighted a lot of continued progress and large number of procedures being reviewed and updated there with follow-up training on those procedures. So going well as well. Lastly, just wanted to bring your attention to the dot point around the LRCI Phase 4 program. We had received advice that this payment will take up to 16 weeks, but we got a nice little Christmas present today. We have received that 308,000. Another 537,000 for the register recovery payment. So that was well received. So that's my report. The council received another report. Thanks.
Couple of moves for that, please. Neville, seconded. Trevor, do you want to speak to that?
No.
Load in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Thanks, Tony. Property and services, page 183.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is the Property and Development Services monthly update. Probably you've read most of it, I assume, so I'll just draw your attention to a couple of highlights. So we've finished all our fire inspections. There was a remarkable decrease in properties that required to be inspected after the first round. So we're down to half a page in Lameroo and Pingaroo, which is about 14 to 15 properties. Good, down from 45 to 55 for both of those. So we had engagement there. Still got some that require work, so we'll have to monitor those. It may be that council has to go out and do them and then build them going forward. So we'll keep an eye on that. We've sent 14 outstanding dog registration expiations to the Fines Department. I've already had a couple of phone calls about those people saying that they hadn't received their expiation notices, which we will work through and figure out what's going on, and it is actually the case. We've got a finalised stormwater management plan for Pinaroo Avenue, which has been signed off by both parties, so that's good. We'll get that sorted, and that should be works being in place. Hopefully they'll start sometime in very early New Year, according to what the contractor has told me. So we'll see where we end up with that. And we had another pigeon cull in Pinaroo, which we got another 90 birds, and have reduced the population to a reasonable size again. So we'll see how that goes, but that's going to be an ongoing acquisition.
We drove in today and there was a whole ram on the back of the pinto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was difficult.
You could sit outside that school and just pop shots.
Right, there must be sea or something on the top of my office roof.
Yeah, I can hear him in there.
Yeah.
We've removed here to do some other pigeon grouping maneuvers. So
Been out this year for pigeons.
there are, but we just got to keep going with this any solution really. The other thing was
Cats.
cats. We are working with a contractor. In the new year, we should have a better idea of a plan that we're going to go with. Should probably be a trapping program, most likely, as opposed to a shooting program. Now, this has never been attempted before. But we have to trap so that we can figure out their
But we can't use it. But then we're going to have to pay for euthanasia.
Yeah.
To get him euthanized.
no contractor can euthanize them.
Oh, yeah. So we can do it. Right.
Yeah, but to trap, they'll have to trap them in at least the first couple of instances to figure out if we are going to be getting any local cats or domestic cats in the
But to be fair,
in the
shouldn't
program.
domestic cats shouldn't be out there then, should they?
To be fair, they shouldn't be, but it's technically you can't shoot within a kilometre of the town. And we are working with the government around what we could do with that, especially using high-powered slug guns, that sort of stuff.
Air rifle will take a cat out.
Yep. Air rifle. But that's an ongoing process. So trapping is the first best option I have. So that's the program we'll start with. We will still have to do quite a large public information and curfew on the nights that we do trap. But we will have that all figured out in the new year. And then go.
We're going to be posting out to every ratepayer shortly.
Yeah.
There is that.
So you can have a leaflet going the same.
Well, I have also issues in my room as well. So
The worst is at that
this is down here.
service station. Yeah.
Well, it is sorted. We'll figure it out. We'll have a plan. And then once we've got that plan, I can bring that back to you if you want to know, or I can just mess. So
We never use wild dog bait.
Well, just as a point of order, we're actually talking about something and the report hasn't been received yet. So everyone's having
that's a good point. So, the other thing I wanted to bring your attention to was the people tracker information, which is further down, hopefully in a much more legible format this time. One thing I do need you to be aware of, you need to divide the numbers by 2 because it's bi-directional tracking, so it's in and out. So just be aware of that. Yeah, well, maybe. But so that is there, but you've got time of day, you've got the 30 days that we've tracked for since the last meeting, and the activity trends. So it's some interesting reading in there, especially around the pool usage. It's just much higher than I originally thought it would be. So, with that said, I recommend that council receive a note of the report.
Move us with that. Luke, second, Chris. Yeah, would anyone like to speak to that?
Now,
Chris.
Two things. Has the Telstra building in Lameroo been contacted about their?
I have been given a notice, yes.
Yeah, they haven't responded.
Not yet.
No. Secondly, on the cat thing, would we be likely to find domestic cats that are caught?
Good question. It's not part of the plan that I've worked yet, but I'm open to taking suggestions. If that's something you would like to do, we can look at that.
The contractor will have a scanner to check.
I will give him actually. One of the things we're discussing is I have a very powerful one that you can scan from over the top of the cage. So if it is properly feral, they don't have to get too close to them because most of the little handheld ones you actually have to roll them over the skin. This one will pick it up from about that far. So yeah, we will scan them all. And one of the things we'll put into the letters, this is another thing we've been discussing, is that some form of identification on the cat. So collar, disc or microchip. They should all be microchipped legally. But yeah, we'll figure that out in the pamphlets that go out, or the paraphernalia that goes out prior to the tracking program.
Yeah, sorry. The expressions for interest for the RSL, will that be brought to us next meeting?
Yes.
Yeah. And one more. Are these activity counters, will they be put on the officers at all to
We will put them across all buildings and as we go along. Yep.
Yeah, I think we might go analog to start.
Yeah.
So whoever answers, whoever talking to someone, write it down because it's not hundreds. So
that's all good.
Time of day.
Mostly I'm concentrating on public
What's
events,
it regarding?
schools.
That's right.
halls,
That's right.
public
You
buildings,
probably can't
so-
pay someone to sit there and check who goes to the toilet.
Well,
No, essentially no. But these are fairly accurate because you have to be above a certain mass for them to register you. So tiny tots won't register, and cats won't register. Most dogs won't register except maybe a Great Dane. So yeah, but you have to be a certain body mass for it to register. Yeah, but it's not like it's registering the wind or a flag movement or anything like that. It actually has to be a live or a warm body, more to the point. So
No, the pool's been busy. It's good.
yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, I just had a question on the cat. Help, like on our land road, you know, out to the dump, and someone does some cats on the way out to the dump or coming back. Now, you could use fox baits once you're distance out of town to knock cats off, like the big baits, not the.
Good question. Don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to do some research, but I'm happy to do that.
It's not their cats up at home, they got the.
Baiting, I'm assuming if you're fox baiting, it's no different to cat baiting, so yeah, I would assume it'd be the same rules.
They all hate it.
So, yeah,
They eat it like,
yeah.
just meat ones we've done.
Yeah.
So that would be my first thing.
Quick smart.
Luke?
So that'd be a good
Oh,
one.
No, I mean, you know me, I'd just say take the collars off and don't worry about it anyway. But continuing.
In that case, Trevor?
Have you had any follow-ups from our workshop on properties, as in?
I've been talking
things
to
we don't-
Jill still. I'm hopeful actually to have a map from one of them up there. They're having a look into it as well for me. So, but I'm from a certificate of title point of view. I'm pretty sure we've got them all. It's just the Crown Register stuff that I'm still working on.
Spinning back.
Yeah.
Just two for me, the cats, so cat management and fining and that, because we don't have bylaws, we don't have cat laws, I don't imagine. So is that something, because the bylaws are something that's ongoing, is that a piece within that sample that you've been given that we can put some cat management stuff in there so that people can be fined if their cats are?
Yeah.
We could do that, but I think I could also do it under the powers of the Dog and Cat Management Act as well. So wandering cat, technically.
Just dog owners shouldn't be held to account and cat owners not.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Gotta be
It's a lot harder to catch a cat and identify.
Well, luckily you're an agile fella.
That's right.
And just in mentioning what Trevor just said, then Bruce Pocock, just as a point of info, Bruce Pocock pointed out to me tonight and took my number to share it with me that he's tracked down some stuff about the Smithville Hall and the last descendants and all that sort of stuff. So
Just a couple of those issues, we like the Smithfield cricket pitch, I know I'm going about, but we might as well ask walkers what their answer is. Like, they might have a totally different thing to what your system tells you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know,
they
direct.
got local knowledge,
Yeah.
historical knowledge.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see whether the certificates of title there actually play out the way that line up with what SAPA says, which theoretically they should, because that's the state government Bible, basically. So
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. Complete confidence. All those in favour? Against? Carried, thank you. You had me until the end.
Yeah.
11.4, page 189, draft disability access inclusion plan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Right, so this is the first draft or the potential first draft of the Disability Access Inclusion Plan for 25-29. It has been delayed from I won't go and read the whole report because I'm assuming you already have. I'll just give you some other context. It's delayed because the state government was updating their state disability access inclusion plan, and they were waiting on the federal government one. So it was a long chain of delays. Hence why this is only just come out now. We only got the templates for these plans in August. So we've been putting together since then, but they only gave it until mid-February to have them ratified and sent back to them. So we have put together a plan. We don't think it's too onerous. I'm happy to answer anything you've got on it. So just some background again, the first one was launched in 2019. We had one that ran until 2023, and this is why this one's going up from 25 to 29, as I just explained. The plan has changed in how it's laid out and what it presents and what is included in disability access and inclusion. So it's no longer just mobility, disability. It's now includes mental health and a whole heap of other things, which you would have seen in there. So after all that, and probably not saying as much as I thought I was, the recommendation is that council receives and notes contents to this report, endorses the draft Southern Valley District Council Disability Access Inclusion Plan 25 to 29 for public consultation in accordance with council's public consultation policy and the applicable legislative provisions, and authorises the chief CEO to make any formatting, nomenclature or other minor changes to the draft Southern Valley District Council Disability Access Inclusion Plan for 25-29 prior to public consultation period commencing. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I have a move for that. Luke, second, Chris, do you want to speak to that?
There's only one thing that I don't like about it, and I mentioned it to my partner, and she hates the word inclusion. And every person with a disability hates the word inclusion because it just goes to woke bullshit.
Right. Okay.
Like, just call it disability.
Yeah,
Like everyone who has a disability,
Yep.
they hate the word inclusion. Like, it is just a.
Am I not included already?
Yeah, it's a word that it's a word that us normies use, as they call us. That we are idiots and shouldn't be talking like that.
Through the chair, there's not much I can do about that.
I know, but that's just
naming of the convention, not for the plans and the plans that go
yeah.
back to.
No, I'm just saying that's just.
We'll take that on board, and I will send that feedback back.
Just never use the word inclusion.
My brother-in-law hates being an inspiration.
Yes,
He's the one that.
yeah,
Inspiration.
yeah. You're an inspiration for watching your TV. Good job.
Sorry.
On the same vein, can I then say, I understand it is their official title, but in the thing, are we able to call it the draft disability access plan and strike inclusion and just see how if it flows? Because sometimes you're better off to ask for forgiveness.
I'm not being a joke. It's just it's something they honestly. I don't like.
Totally on board, and I don't live with the disability, so I'm happy to be educated. So yeah, that's fine by me, and I can definitely do that. That's not a hard word to search and take out.
You just get told off, and you got to change it, put it back.
What I'll do is I'll make one version with it in. If they want it, then I can send it, and I'll just make another version that has it out. And I'm happy to go out with the. So would you like to go out with the one that doesn't include inclusion then?
Yeah, just do that. They won't read it.
Happy to do that.
Thank you.
Well, then we're responding to a person within our district who actually is under the plan.
Yep. One of the things I will mention is we will be sending this to known advocates for this sort of stuff. So I've already earmarked at least 2. I've potentially got 3 that it will go out to, as well as going to the Board of Public, but we will directly engage with those people.
Yeah.
Okay. Great idea. Very good. All those in favour? Again, carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Page 225, Chief Executive Officer update.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to take it all as read. I've put in all my meetings from October because I didn't do one in October. But I will mention a couple of things. I've been to a couple of CEO forums, and I don't need to anymore, so we can save our money next year. That's great. It's
Soul sucking.
the word junket springs to mind. It's
Inclusion.
It's nice to it's nice to get some freebies out of the lawyers once. But
It ain't free.
yeah, well, that's exactly right. It's just it was nice and it's great to talk to people, sure. But there wasn't enough of that to warrant going again. The MRLGA, on the other hand, the one we had in Adelaide, that was really good. It's a lot smaller group, and we all sort of get on. Which
You have to.
one of them I have to. Yeah. One of them's married to my mother. Yeah. I use married and not other crass terms there. I want that noted for the record. But because it was in Adelaide, we actually got some really good speakers. So we had the acting CEO for the LGA come in. We had the CEO for LGA procurement. And from that chat, all the CEOs went, why aren't we all meeting as soon as budget's done? Why aren't we all just meeting and going, right, what are we buying? And then all go out together. Why that doesn't happen anyway, I don't know. But it was nice that that's actually something that's going to happen now.
That's some buying power.
Yeah, that's right. And then we've got sort of 8 councillors now that I've that we've got, I can call up now. Yeah. It's not, I don't, yeah, I mean, I'm still the IT guy when I go there. If something doesn't work, but that was a good one. On to the LGA conference and AGM. This was me listening to everyone talk about the city councils.
Yeah.
And growth, including politicians. I will give a shout out to the LGA president. No, he's from Gladstone, and he did
Alga.
At least Alga. Yes, sorry,
Not LGA.
yeah, sorry, Alga. He is from Gladstone up in Queensland, and he did actually at least have some sentences about regional areas. So that was at least something. Again, I think the mayor's more than capable of going to that stuff. He doesn't need me to hold his hand.
I think we can skip many of those because, if I may, the same thing was that went to all these things in the beginning in the hope that it was going to achieve something and we'd find like-minded councils who were on the same bandwagon and we could get some value out of it with politicians and door knocking and open doors. And so far it's all amounted to absolutely diddly squat. And it's like when you read Inside Local Government that comes out multiple times a week. It is all about growth communities and the next new library, the next new art thing, the next new stadium, the next new, and it just they classify us as regional in their mind. They don't classify us. Pinnaru's remote, Lameroo's rural. That's the actual classification, but they lump us all in as regional.
So it would be better having the office up here.
Well, in some ways it would.
Just trying it out.
So I just wanted to add, I think we're going to be, obviously we haven't got that much time left in this term, but it's going to be much sparser.
Yeah.
We're not going to go to the day before Kumbaya moments because there's no value in them.
Yeah.
And they're just not serious. And I've said that directly to them. Yeah. We've been asked for feedback. I've said it to them in their feedback. And when they last year asked for feedback on the review of their strategic plan and their setup, and they completely ignored it all and just put their new plan out, which was like the old plan.
Yeah. Yeah. I concur. One final one I will mention, I did go to the Lameroo Area School end of year ceremony, got invited to that, and that was lovely. That brought me right back to when I was a kid doing it. So that was nice to sit there, and I wasn't ran out from the day before or 2 days before. They were happy to have me. So no, it's good to see. It's good to see so many kids to going to the school. So yeah.
Can I have a question on page 225?
Let's get it. We'll get it moved in and then
Recommendation, council receive and note the report.
Yes.
Mover, Neville, seconder, Campbell. Anyone want to speak to it? Neville.
Yeah, the waste management discussion. What was that with about? Yeah.
It was about waste management. It was about, so there's the waste management's 2-step process. So there's one of picking it up and then it's where does it go? So this is about where does it go and getting a agreement in place for what it's going to cost us to dump it, so to speak. And quite often when you go out to go and pick up your stuff, that bit there, the dropping off is a lot where the profit margin is.
Okay.
So we're sort of locking in, and we're locking in it over sort of 6 years of what it's going to cost instead of that being a profit margin there.
No, the reason I ask because I know we're going to do it. The Riverland, that's going to take in all the rubbish one stage.
Yeah.
The whole everywhere, but that never went by. I thought
they now go down to Brinkley.
Yeah, this is for Brinkley. Yeah.
So that Riverland one didn't eventually.
Yeah, close to the river, I think, and it might contaminate the river.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Now I did get chatting to him at the Kelly Jones. That's I'm supposed to talk anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Anyone else? Yeah, sorry, I just got one more comment. With the Snaps and Soul stuff,
Yes.
it has slowed down a bit, and there's a lot of people I talk to in the community that still aren't aware of it.
Yep.
I think there could be some value in remarketing this to everyone once we get the new improved system in the start of January.
Yeah, 5th of Jan is what
Yeah.
the agreement's been signed for, so that'll be and right. Thank you very much. I hope you're watching. He'll be running with that as soon as he gets back.
Yeah, he's on leave.
That's right.
Ben's the acting
Yeah.
CEO.
How come they're supposed to do that stuff? We stuff on there that hasn't been done. Is it got to wait months or years before?
It depends on what it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Depends on what town you do it from to.
Yeah, I just figured the signs, there's a lot of signs, but no one's sort of done nothing about the signs yet. There's a big problem
about the signs. Yeah.
I stuck one in the other day. I was done within 2 days.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So pretty up.
Yeah. But we
5 stars.
Yeah, it's something we'll put out. It'll be almost weekly, fortnitly.
Yeah.
As a just on social media every fortnight, every week. Use this, and then I'll start to be able to bring you reports that have got KPIs and stuff better than what you've got there at the moment. Yeah.
All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. 11.7, 258, review of confidential items.
No, 234.
Oh, sorry, I got missed one, have I? Sorry, didn't mark one. New business plan project. And your business plan project update, 234.
Yeah. A lot of these are Ben's, and he's been on leave for a lot of weeks. So
Well, if he's covering you, you're covering him.
I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. No, and yep, the rest of the team have done theirs as well. So I'll take questions on it. But I have any information, but yeah, no, a lot of them haven't been updated from before Ben leaving.
Okay. In that case, recommendation, council will receive and note this report. Mover, Neville, seconder, David. Does anyone want to speak to it?
No, could.
All happy?
Yeah, I'm gather the draining ball was exactly how we explained the issue, that they were going to pull it up and make it more powerful, and it was rooted.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It was
And then we've bought, I'm not sure we'd over purchased or something, that the pump has to go somewhere else.
Yeah, I believe so.
Would have to redraw a new hole.
Yeah, down there,
Yeah.
What's that?
To move money.
There's casing and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
But the board still, is the pump still down there?
Yeah, it's still operational for the Bowls Club, so they're still going to get.
For another 20 years.
Yeah, they put the original pump down it, but they couldn't put a bigger one down, and that's what all the issue is.
Yeah, that's why I suggest they should just pump it into a tank and then pump it out of the tank. It'd be a lot quicker to fill a tank with a 3-inch pump than use the bore. Yeah. In sense with it.
Yeah.
I know when the boards went dry here, some guys couldn't pull it up, but what it was going, it could have went for another 20 years. So only when it stuffs.
Yeah, but some of those older boards were built kind of funny too. We got one that's got a kink in it and you can't pull the bloody thing out.
Yeah, well, you just leave it there till it stops working.
Yeah.
Okay. So Trevor, you happy?
Yeah, it was
Trevor's question.
Yeah.
All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Yeah, I'll pull my little thing out now. Righto, 258, 11.7. Review of confidential items, but it's not confidential, is it?
No, it's not, because we're not talking about all the items.
Yeah.
Basically, we review the confidential items once every 12 months for transparency and all of that sort of stuff, and anything that we deem. Well, it's actually I deem, isn't it? It's down to me, but in consultation with Shona and Sharon, we release ones that don't need to be. So,
can I just interrupt 1 second? Just for those who haven't maybe noted, on page 261 is the process. If anyone wants to talk about the individual items, we need to go into confidence.
Yeah.
If you don't have, we need a definitive line about if we're going to go into that. We've got to change things, if you're happy, we don't have to go and just put out there. Carry on.
Yeah, no, you're right. I forgot about this report, so I had nothing prepared to talk to it. But any questions? The recommendation is that council receive and note the contents of the report. Approves all of the items recommended to be retained in confidence as shown in the attachment to this report titled Confidential Items Register Review 17th December 2025 to be retained in confidence until 31st of December 2026 and pursuant to section 91(9)(c) of the Local Government Act 1999, the council delegates the power to revoke these confidential orders either partially or in full to the Chief Executive Officer. Approves all the items recommended to no longer be retained in confidence as shown in the attachment to this report titled Confidential Items Register Review 7th December 2025 to no longer be retained in confidence. And they're the ones in green. We are.
I'll move it for that, please. Luke, seconder. Chris, does anyone want to speak to that? And importantly, is it going to be in detail?
No. Number 254, the Joint Council Key Workers Housing Project. I was going to reference that later in my talk about that housing workshop. If we're releasing it for confidence now, can I talk about those details in that, or is it still in confidence until you actually press the button?
Yes, so that's the one question.
The other councils have all released it, so I don't.
Okay.
Yes. So you can.
Not that I'm referencing that much, but yeah, it's good to know. Yeah.
I think it should all be released anyway. I don't think anything should be held confidentially. That's just my view. Whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. Neville?
Nothing.
Other than that, Luke? Noted, Bob.
Yeah, Trevor?
Yeah. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Page 271, resolution status report. Chief Whip again.
Yeah. I'll take the resolutions register as read. We made some amendments to it last council meeting, and those should all be, well, they are, but they're all reflected in the sorry, I'm on the wrong page. Forgive me. In the register, yeah. So recommendation is council receive and note the contents of the report and determine that the resolutions identified in attachment 1 as completed have been accomplished and no further status reports will be provided on those resolutions.
Move it, please. Trevor, seconder. Chris, does anyone want to speak to that? Have any thoughts?
No. Yeah.
Neville?
Just on page 281, it's got one there, it's been completed, the one of having a council have the financial stability advisory committee. That has been finished, but we haven't still picked the text to the public people. But on page 294, it's got the same thing again. It's discussing the same thing, but we haven't picked the two public members, so can't we say it's been completed, can we?
Well, yeah, because there is a quorum based on the terms of reference. Yeah. So what's we've got to do is set the meeting dates is the big thing. Yeah, we've got to do. But we'll keep looking.
I just wondered because I didn't think we had two public members. I read that. I thought, we still have. I'm pretty sure we didn't have them.
No.
Yeah, Ron's been banging on about it. Yeah,
banging on about it. Only money. Right. Anyone else? What, Trev? Like you've got something.
Yeah, no, I put a ring about our signs. We're pretty slow again.
You should have put a time on
that. Quite a few purchase orders for signs. Yeah,
let's start.
It is a start.
Yeah, there was a whole heap of them in Snapchat. So
yeah, right.
I think Ben took a photo of himself to get them.
Yeah.
There's also a need in the future to make a little leg that can bolt through the sign and go down the ground. So they should just put a peg in there and stop them spinning.
Yeah,
because they're digging through them and putting making it a whole task when it could be quite simple.
Yeah, that's right.
Could be quite simple. Don't have to dig a hole.
Yeah. That's it.
Cool. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Questions on notice 299. Number 12, none. Questions on, yes, question on those. There is 12.1. Yep. Campbell.
My question is, why is Cogs in Lameroo and Pinaroo not currently open 5 days a week? And what is currently being done to get them open Monday to Friday?
Thank you.
This one was prepared earlier.
And yeah, do appreciate the question. I noticed to give time to give a formal answer. So yeah, I've got something here for you, which will go in the minutes. So you may recall 12 months ago, the CEO at the time, Mr. Lachlan Miller, had informed elected members via workshops and emails that the COG services were continuing to experience some difficulties in maintaining our staffing ratios due to the loss of some key staff, those key staff being the plumbing staff. That's where we're having some issues. So childcare is rightfully a heavy regulated sector with strict staffing ratios and qualification requirements. Staffing has always been tight with the increased utilisation of the new centres, but 2024 had proven to be a very challenging year, and the centres had experienced some days of closure during periods of staff absence and illness. So after surveying families last year and conducting our staffing and customer analysis for 2025, it was apparent that we wouldn't be able to appropriately staff both centres 5 days a week. So council did issue the media release in December last year, advising of a temporary reduction in services, and that we would be constantly looking at opportunities to extend the service back to its full capacity. That's always their intention. So in terms of what's being done over the last year, we have looked to attract suitably qualified diploma level staff. Not many of those locally, so we've tried to source outside the region. We've got close a couple of times, but then we've experienced issue with the lack of suitable housing. That's sort of what held us back from getting people in the region. Obviously, we've employed a manager for the services and completed some workforce planning activities. We've identified future training and development opportunities. So I guess not having much luck recruiting externally, we're primarily focused on developing our own people from within. And we do have a number of staff undertaking training for further studies at various levels. Just trying to develop it within. This approach is certainly beneficial, but it will certainly take longer to get to our desired state. But that's assuming that we can implement all their current deployment staff. At this stage, they're trying to develop within. I guess when someone starts a course, so people are going to take 12 months just to get to a certain stage. We've got a number of people that are approaching completion. A number of those have indicated they'd like to go on and do diploma studies, which is good. Once they actually enrol and start, they can be considered at the diploma staff level, and then we can play with the ratios and see what we can do to increase utilisation.
Tony, it's the diploma level that's the issue, and you go down. It's a juggle every day with the team leaders. If a diploma person, someone with a diploma, gets sick, it's running around to try and keep it open for that day. It's the diploma, so that's why it has to be developed from within. Is what we're doing, and really,
but it has to be Pinaroo.
What's that?
But it has to be Pinaroo that's closed.
No, none of any number of them.
Friday.
On Friday, no, they both are.
They both closed.
Yeah.
In the analysis, we considered one or the other open. So, but they've indicated both centres had less utilisation on Friday.
Yeah.
I think during the process we only had one complaint from the parent, and everyone else has adapted.
Yeah, it's really helped having the manager though, Campbell. That's having a manager there in it every day. Someone really capable is really helping. So hopefully we can get some people to really hang around, do the diploma, and then open back up 5 days a week.
That's very good. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Tony. 13, page 300, motions on notice. Councillor Michelle.
Yeah. We got a bit of a document to read, as I do. So the most frequent issue I'm asked to do something about as a councillor is increased housing for this district, but even more than roads. So increased housing leads to higher population, higher council income from rates and capita funding, better support for business, a reduction in service costs, and support for community volunteer groups and sports clubs. Money invested this pays off big time in the long term. So there's many ways to support increased housing. Some will cost money, some are free. They include things like marketing campaigns and group purchasing deals, finance assistance, trade arrangements, grant applications, federal and state lobbying, business partnerships, rates concessions, information sessions, and many more. So a great side effect of all the feedback and conversations I've been having with people about the Lameroo office is the ideas that ratepayers have up there and the support they are giving for things that would involve improving our housing supply in the district. So I think it'd be great if we could utilise this momentum to continue community engagement. So when this topic has raised its head in council so far, it's usually been met with a standard response of there's plenty of blocks of land available, people can build on them, so we don't need to do anything. The fact that there is a dire need for housing, but that houses aren't being built despite available land shows that land availability is likely not the issue. There's a lot more council can do other than developing new residential land, although the supply of quality land that people want to build on is a legitimate option. So there was a very relevant prior to today confidence report presented to council. That was the Joint Key Council Workers Housing Project, which pretty much identifies that the big issue in this is that banks won't loan in the country because they see it as too high risk and the land's got no value. So something that could help alleviate this issue may remove the roadblock for people to build housing in this area. And I guess that when I'm talking about housing, I'm not just talking about the towns of Penrith and Lameroo, I'm talking about the small towns too, and I'm talking about the farms. Like farmers struggle to get houses built too because of the cost of trades and getting finance for them as well. So all this can be incorporated to help the whole community. So to summarise, housing is a key issue for our district, which I think needs to be addressed. Investment in this area pays off long term. So a prime example of this is the housing blocks on Macintosh Avenue, Penrith, which are given away to people 20-something years ago with the proviso they built a house there. I'm sure you guys all know the Kinnard family. They came here through that process and they've been a massive asset to our community. So that project has well and truly paid for itself by now and brought some amazing people to our district. So there's a quote that I love that I often think about when I undertake my role as councillor. And it's this, and it's that society grows great when old men plant trees, the shade of which they will never see. And I think investment in this area will potentially cost money, but it can provide immediate relief to housing issues and will set our district up for long-term benefit. So in the administration response, Jason has expertly outlined the proper process for this motion, and I agree with how it's set out, so I'll reword the motion accordingly. So it's up there. So I move that council undertakes the following staged and manageable approach in regard to addressing housing issues in our district. So 1, we undertake targeted stakeholder engagement. So we engage directly with builders, real estate agents, farmers, major employers, financiers, and key community organisations to establish a grounded understanding of barriers and opportunities for residential development and housing in our district. 2, administration prepare a preliminary issues and options paper. So this report summarises constraints, potential mechanisms, grant opportunities, and legal considerations. 3, we go to a community input phase, where you release the issues and options paper through Council's consultation hub, inviting structured community feedback. 4, we have a council workshop. For the following analysis, administration presents findings to a council workshop to assess feasible actions within council's legislative powers, financial capacity, and workforce resources. And then 5, at the conclusion of all this, we develop a draft housing support strategy. So, and then administration prepare this and we release it for formal public consultation developed from the previous 4 steps. So I think this will have great value to our district. And yeah, I know that administration does have a lot of work already on the table, so I'm not expecting this to be done right away, rather after some more other things are done. But yeah, I think it's a very valuable thing we do.
You want to move it?
Yeah, if I moved it there. Yeah.
Can I just check, have I got that right? Is that first one supposed to be there?
No, get rid of that first.
Get rid of that first sentence.
Campbell's moved it. Do I have a seconder, please? Trevor? So I want to speak to it.
Yeah, well, I guess if there is such a need, we'll see the blocks that are being developed at the moment, in Lameroo, if they all sell like that, then yeah, definitely.
Yeah, sorry to jump in. That's the other part of it. We will have blocks coming from those workshops. Yeah.
Well, I think Chris is actually referring, sorry,
Private development, and the council blocks that, yeah. if private development is snapped up like that, well, that certainly shows that, yes, there is a need.
That could form.
Can't speak to that, but
Oh, you can at the end,
Yeah.
as you said, yeah. David?
Yeah, I don't know whether the council should be putting money into building houses or anything, but looking at that, what the way he's worded that is we're looking at options and trying to there might be ways around that we can facilitate people to do put the money in, basically.
Yeah.
Rather than the council put money in and just make it easier and group it together. And there could be some efficiencies there. It could be worth chasing. So I would vote for it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to lose out by not going through that process. We'll find something out. Just talking about putting extra house on farms, you can't do that. You're only allowed to have one house at farm or something, isn't it? So it's,
One per time.
yeah, which is pretty stupid. So
You can have a workman's cottage, can't you?
It's a very difficult thing to get through.
it's very hard to
Attached to the main
So
dwelling.
that stuff that I bet, and also with this government, federal government, 5% deposit scheme, sort of that has shaken a few people loose because I know the land here is cheap to what Adelaide is. I know we've got a house in Adelaide and the land's worth more than the house, well, it was, but now it's different. But the land here is cheap, so if anyone's going to live it somewhere and they want a house, they ought to come out to the country and build a house because that's the cheapest way they can do it. But people, they got to work for your house and work for your stuff. Don't get expected to give it nothing. But I guess this will come up here. But we're not saying we're going to do everything, but we might lose something. That's main thing, I suppose. Yeah.
Somewhere to help.
I don't mind doing some of it, but yeah, I just don't like any of the ratepayers' funds going towards somebody in their property, building their own home. I don't like that because at the end of the day, the way that I see it personally is most people want the Taj Mahal now when they want their first home. I started out in a caravan on a block of land for my first house. I started out small and grow up and work your way up. They just want everything now, so I just don't like it. Do it yourself.
Yeah, I think if a lot of blocks have been taken up, that we need to progress and have other blocks available, and some of it's to do with the stroke of the pen to change land titles. It should be tried to be encouraged to get that done.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the principle of it. I agree. I don't think it's council's business to fund or be involved in funding, and I've had constituents ring me when it was released to say don't agree with that. But I think it's the part about the council being involved as opposed to the council being a conduit for the information and facilitator. Only thing that does concern me greatly is we have a massive amount of work for the administration to do in the next 6 months to deliver things we've been waiting for 3 years. So I really worry about timing, where the horsepower is to do it. That's all that concerns me, to be honest. There's no time frame on it anyway, which I'm also a bit mindful of, because with the signs, if you don't put a time frame, it goes into the never. So but I guess I would also say that in line of what I said earlier, and I'll bring one up that isn't, that wasn't on the agenda. It's all, for me, it's about getting a clear understanding from the constituency about what it is they want to pay rates for. And there's no reason this isn't part of the same question, not individually, but, if they vote for yes, we want to improve things, we're prepared for our rates to go up and we'll do all that, fantastic. If they say no, we want everything to stay the same, we don't want to pay any more money, then that doesn't mean this can't happen, but it puts a different light on. It's probably more about releasing our land, which we've already said we do. So, yeah, that's what I meant.
No, they are really good, valid points. I think you guys said some great things. I think that when we sold the blocks of land over here in McIntosh Avenue, I think there was 3 or 4 blocks on there, they all sold for 20 grand in one day. Those unpaid rates blocks, it shows there is a demand for land already in the district, and 20 grand is about what those blocks are worth.
Have they been built on? Sorry, I should know. I'm interested to know.
No, I doubt it. One's maybe started development. Okay. It has been pretty soon. And yeah, it's not necessarily, maybe it's not helping farmers build another house on their property, because there are building development restrictions for that. But even farmers that want to build a new house for themselves, I'm sure they'd appreciate an easier way of doing it if we're encouraging trades to be in the area, kind of thing. Save them a bit of money, get a nice new house on the farm.
Yeah, we'll go to capitalise too many others.
And yeah, I agree. We do have a lot on our administration does have a lot on their plates, and this is why I said like
No date.
there is no date on this one. Like I do want it done. I don't want to just put off forever, but this is something that could potentially start the process, and we could look at during our what's that phrase I used before, the caretaker period, and that could even progress into the next term of council for them to deal with. Kind of, you know. I think it's a good thing to talk about. You know, I'm not necessarily saying let's spend money, as Luke said, and as a few of the other guys said, but there are options that don't cost us money, which can be very beneficial.
I agree. I'm loath to be for the council to be a landlord. I'm not into that.
It's competing against
It's
developers.
but
Well, then don't do what the other CEO didn't tell us.
yeah, that's right. I'm all right to be a landlord for staff, but not for the general public.
Well done.
Sorry.
Sorry,
No.
councillor.
Vote. Yeah, sorry, you're right.
All those in favour? Against? Only on timing.
There's no time.
That's passed. Okay.
What was that?
You run out of money?
Yeah.
Under a point, you know.
Questions without notice?
Oh, questions on notice.
Without notice.
Oh, yes.
Question on notice is already.
Oh, without notice. And all that stuff that was dumped at our tip, it cost council a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah,
How are we going to get getting those funds back?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Can we send the school the bill?
Can I, because Ben's going to be back, put that question as a question to be answered at the next meeting, so we actually get an official answer, and then it's in the agenda as well.
There's a lot of money that we've had to fork out for that.
Yeah.
What's that for?
Asbestos at the tip
Oh,
from Marlborough School.
55,000.
Allegedly.
Well,
Really?
you can,
Allegedly.
yeah, allegedly, but it's,
Let's not get ourselves, allegedly.
Boy, you should track it down.
I'll just call it as it is, whether people like them or not.
Thanks, allegedly.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Trevor?
Bad number, right?
No, I thought you were winding it up there. No. 15, motions without notice. Yep. And it's a bit of a long-winded one, I'm sorry. And I'll preface it by saying it came about because it's too late. Once the agenda comes out, it's too late to then put something in with notice, and I didn't want it to go over until January. So, motion without notice. I, Councillor Ron Valentine, having complied with the regulations of Section 12 of the Local Government Procedure and Meetings Regulation 2013, hereby submit the following motion without notice at the meeting of the Southern Mallee District Council held Wednesday, 17 December 2025, 6:30 p.m. at Pinaroo Chambers. The motion that I can kind of read, and I'll get my page here. Council finalises development of data sets, materials and presentations for public information and consultation on sustainability. These are to incorporate, but not limited to, the work which has been ongoing throughout the past year, including asset condition report and revaluation for our road network, asset condition report on our key building assets, updated road building policy, including unimproved clay roads, updated asset management plans, including useful lives and service level explanations, revised depreciation figures required to maintain the assets in line with the above plans, targeted cash reserve level and strategy to achieve it, translate our budget into plain accounting, showing where we get our income, where we spend our money, and where our human resources are deployed, and where people work. Develop a full set of detailed and costed sustainability proposals with the aim of achieving a 10% 1 million annual budget savings. Methods of presentation enable data to be consumed and understood by all. 2, Council creates 4 scenarios to be voted on by ratepayers in order of preference. 1, agree to carry out works, maintenance and services to the new level and plans, with all additional funding coming from additional rates unless otherwise available through increased government funding. 2, agree to carry out works, maintenance and services to the new level and plans utilising the savings from sustainability proposals and funding the balance from additional rates unless otherwise available through increased government funding. 3, don't agree to increase works, maintenance and services to the new level and plans, keep rate rises to a minimum and accept resultant degrading of assets and or reduce service level. 4, want the council to investigate amalgamation through independent boundary alignment proposal and negotiation with other councils. 3, council investigates the cost options to run an independent voting process and advise if voting can be compulsorily but anonymous. And 4, council generates a schedule of consultation that provides both face-to-face, mailed and online access to data over at least 3 months, includes a series of presentations inviting businesses, including primary producers, and with voting process completed by Friday, June 19th. Probably should have put 2026, but take that as understood. Rationale. It's been clear to the chamber this term that there was a lot of structural and strategically important plans, documents and procedures that had left our infrastructure without proper future renewal and maintenance planning. It was assumed that the elected members would not fund the necessary work, so why bring it to them? The problem for us in this, it is not the way it's supposed to be or should be. The administration should bring asset management plans and budgets that reflect what the council needs to deliver renewal and maintenance of infrastructure, to deliver the service level set out in the approved plans. Whilst it has taken more than 3 years, this work is now nearly complete, so we will finally know where we were at, with everything needs to be maintained and operated in the future. Knowing what it needs does not mean the ratepayers will fund it, but it should be their decision to make. Democracy should have its day in the truest sense. This chamber can, should and will deliver the wishes of the ratepayers, whatever they choose, but they must make the choice based on all the facts and data, and by doing so, what they plan to leave future generations. Once the vote outcome is known, we will reset the long-term financial plans accordingly for the new chamber. The administration will also clearly know what the will of the people is and should act accordingly. It is better for the elected members to be presented a budget of 12.5 million based on facts and decide in line with the vote to underfund by 1.5 million. This outcome is not good for the infrastructure or services, but everyone will know why. So that's my rationale for it. I would just finish off by saying there's nothing new in that. What that's doing is formalising everything that's being undertaken now, putting a time frame to it, saying that we want to. The only difference is formalising that we put it to a public vote so that every ratepayer gets a vote. If they own 10 properties, they get 10 votes, and it will be their choice about what direction they want us to take. Not just us, we're nearing the end of our term, but future chambers, but also administrations about what's expected. So that's me. I'll move that.
With this motion, again, like the role of the principal member, that is you, is to decide whether motions without notice are appropriate to be dealt with now or in next meeting when administration can provide a detailed response to it, and the elected members can make an informed decision by researching this. And I think that this motion is very long and very complicated, and I cannot make an informed decision on this today. And I'd like to hear administration's feedback on that. So it's a bit of a conflict of interest for you to postpone your own motion, which I think it would be way better if you put this as a motion on notice next meeting. I'm not saying whether I agree or disagree with the content there.
I understand.
I'm just saying that's probably the best process to do with it.
I would have thought none of this is new stuff if we didn't understand this by now.
We've been talking about it for 3 years.
I understand what you're saying, and I'm not.
There's just been like quite a few stuff read out there. I haven't had time to process that. You asked me to repeat what you've just said. I couldn't say it.
No, I didn't expect you to.
My question is going to be, what's the administration have to do extra that they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing by this? Is there any extra burden on you? So
No, not really.
yeah, well, that's why I thought we could.
We're ticking it all off.
That's
What
maybe.
amended me motion?
Yeah, well, that's the other. Yeah, well, then there's that.
So
Isn't it just happening anyway?
that's why I back it. Yeah.
No,
No, it's not.
this gets it on the agenda in the minutes in a public forum. That's my motive.
No, 100%. That's a good way of doing it. I think it should be on notice so that elected members have the opportunity to read through the whole thing, do their research and make an informed decision. I don't have any information on that other than what you just read there.
Yeah.
There's like 20 things I could look up to do with that off the top of my head. I cannot make an informed decision on that today.
We're going to vote or what?
No,
Is there more on that? Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's what Ron read out.
Reality is that because the other one was changed, this was here tonight to facilitate the part in the earlier piece, but I'd already sent it through to council today and got it vetted, well not vetted, but gave it to Jason to give it a once over. So I'm not bolted to it being a without notice now. It could go in for the meeting agenda for next meeting, because the piece that it was actually addressing was the previous recommendation that it put it to this vote scenario, which can still happen. So rather than force something if someone's uncomfortable, I'm not sure how anybody else feels about it, but obviously without getting it on the table, we won't know.
It's not my intention to offend you by saying.
No, I'm not offended. No, you've got.
I could 100% agree with everything you're saying there, but I need the time to process that.
Yeah. Everything we're doing.
We haven't processed it the whole time that we've been doing it the last couple of years.
No, so I'm happy. I'll put it in as a notice on motion for the next.
Yeah, no, I understand, but
because it's not the need for it has dissipated, but I agree. It was. There's nothing new in this.
If you made that decision, I appreciate that. I think it's a good decision.
So let's do I just withdraw? Or being that it wasn't there anyway?
Yeah.
I think you should leave it there so people can read it and we can read it.
No, I can't.
Can't leave it.
If it's there, it's got to be voted on or
It's got to go to the next meeting.
Yeah, we'll put it in as a.
yeah, it's one or the other.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not disagreeing with the content.
No, I understand. It's like I say, I'm not taking offence to it. It's this is the way it's meant to work. You have your opinion, and I would rather give the opportunity for it to be a unanimous vote if it might be, as opposed to it being absolutely can't be because you're not ready to consume it. So I'm happy with that. I'll withdraw it and I'll put it forward, being that the other one didn't end up the way it was.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, it's fine.
Are we allowed to discuss any of the topic? Like, I don't know why everybody's got to vote on it. Like, not council, but community. Like,
well, we can't. It's not here now. It's not a thing we're talking about. So
that's right.
Yeah, but I'm happy to talk about it independently as well.
If you want to email me that tomorrow, this whole thing,
I'll put it in for the thing. I think because it's motion should go in for the. Although it's been So by the way, cool. In that case, that's gone. We're going to confidential items, which I'm sorry we need to go into conference. Did you have anything you wanted to address or say? Or
not really. I just thought I'd say I've never been to a council meeting. So it's really that's all right. It's just very interesting. And I thought I can never find. You hear from other people, and I think if I stay and listen, I can actually find.
Well, appreciate it.
That you have to let people know that you're putting the traps for cats, because I just think that people. Then the people lock them up that night, but then don't lock them up any other time.
Yeah. I vote for you to be our pet management person.
Thanks a lot, and I live in Dogsville.
Yeah. But I live across the road.
With barking dogs. But I'm close to the council, but I just normally go and tell the neighbours. If they don't stop the dogs from barking, I'll report. But yeah, I just think, to me, it's a bit pointless telling them again to set cat traps, because the people that don't actually look after their cats will lock them up those nights and then won't do it any other time.
The only thing,
that's my opinion.
The only answer I would put to that, and it's not my position to do so, but they do put out signs to say you're coming to a speed camera. And you get the choice to slow down.
But yeah, they're the people that will probably lock the cats up that night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tess.
Yeah, I think so. Is that what? Did she get out?
Get it out, beautiful.
We're going to do go in conference.
What I had spoken to you
about to get in there. Righto, 16.1, confidentialised recommendation. We're going to confidence. All those in favour? Mover? Can I have a mover?